Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve podcast takes a close-up look at controversial subject matter and hot-button topics, adding humor, cynicism, and a dose of reality to the stuff we're not supposed to talk about anymore. Politics, religion, sex, gender identity, violence, corruption. Nothing is left unturned in this lighthearted approach to information dissemination. The world is experiencing a pandemic of cowardice. 80% of people do not believe the craziness they've been coerced to agree with. Grab a friend, grab a beverage, and dive in with us as we take on the narrative and blast social stigmas with truth. Here are your hosts, Patriots Ray Amanat and Steve Reed.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, wherever you're at in social media land, blogosphere. If you're listening to the show or watching our show, welcome to Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve. I'm Ray Amanat, based in sunny Port Richey, Florida, and my co-host, Mr. Steve Reed, in an undisclosed location somewhere in northern Texas. Muchas gracias, Mr. Reed. I'm sure you're getting a lot of Hispanics coming across the border there. So we are kind of doing another twist on today's show. Last week was a rant. This week it's more with the holidays upon us. We're going to discuss support for our first responders and veterans. Our guest today is Mr. Sean Broker, who's the Senior Director of Business Development for Defenders Gateway, which is an app with the national network of resources and support for all defenders and their families. We're going to do a deeper dive into that, but first let's welcome Mr. Broker to our show. Sean, welcome to Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve.
Good afternoon. I should have mentioned I'll actually be down in northern Texas at an undisclosed location at Cowboy Stadium here in a couple of weeks for the Cotton Bowl. So, Missouri OSU.
Okay, so are you going to the Cotton Bowl or are you going to the Cowboy Stadium?
It's at Cowboy Stadium. It's the Cotton Bowl. Yeah,
because that's two different places.
Of course.
Two different places. Come on, Sean. Learn your geography.
All right, Mr. Sean, can you tell our viewers and listeners, well, first, before we do that, let's put our disclaimer up there, Steve.
Oh, Ray, whatever.
This is an opinion-based show, and we don't necessarily reflect our views on program guests or other affiliations or sponsors, so if you have a problem with this, you can go suck it. But hey.
Or take it out on Sean, not us.
Bring it on.
Sean, can you tell our viewers and listeners a little about who you are first and then how you got partnered with Defenders Gateway?
Yeah, so I'm actually an attorney based in St. Louis. I work at a big firm. I'm a defense attorney. I handle a lot of contract disputes in the litigation process. But as far as Defenders Gateway goes, I'm a spokesman for them, and certainly I help develop the business side and build a user base for our app. And what Defenders Gateway is, it's a app exclusively built for our nation's veterans, military, and first responder types, police officers and firefighters. And we call them, of course, our nation's defenders. And what we do is we really try to bridge the gap of information out there if you're a veteran or a defender. And as everyone on this podcast likely knows, there's a lot of businesses out there that want to support veterans. There's a lot of nonprofits out there that want to support defenders as well. And we try to serve as a filter to provide those as a bridge directly from the business or nonprofit to the users. So that's at a high level what we do. You know, the information is great, but it's only great to the extent you can analyze it, look at it, and figure out how you as a person could actually use it. And that's what we seek to do.
And the app is not necessarily for everyone, just the defenders, the veterans, soldiers, and their families. Is that correct?
That's right. That's right. And as part of that, what we do when you sign up, you have to sort of submit various forms or different documentation to verify that you're a defender. And this is really important for the business side of the businesses that we represent on the app, because they want to know that they're actually supporting veterans or defenders out there. And that's one way we do it. It's just sort of, this is a special app built specifically for them and designed for them. So that's the general purpose. Yes.
So in other words, the defender is defenseless. I'm a defender, which means I am defenseless.
Is that how it works?
I can't subscribe to the app. We'll get into that.
Yeah, we can talk about that.
You're confusing me, Steve.
Yeah. He's got those jokes today. I've heard
what can I say? What can I say? All right. So Sean, Defenders Gateway has been around for how many years, and how in the world was this formed? It was just I mean, poof out of thin air, or what's the background behind it?
Oh no, I mean, it's certainly come a long way. It was first, I want to say, founded back around 2018, maybe five years ago now. And I'm fairly new to the Defenders Gateway, maybe 6 or 8 months as part of their team. But it was founded by Kara Watanabe. She is a woman in St. Louis, Missouri, that sort of come up with it. And she just came up with the idea that that this was something that was needed for the community. She has a nonprofit called Little Patriots Embrace. So she's always been sort of a veteran supporter, and she cares a lot about first responders and military and things like that. So she just came up with this idea a few years ago and said, hey, there needs to be an app exclusively for for defenders out there. And this is my idea behind it. So it's come a long way. And of course, COVID got in the way a little bit and slowed things down on like a lot of businesses out there. But we actually just released the second version, at least on iPhone, of the app back in early November. And I think Android is, I spoke with Carol today, and I think Android's a days away. Certainly by the end of the year, we're going to release version 2 on Android. And we just keep getting better. We just keep moving up. And yep, there's our app.
And there's what it looks like. So folks, if you are watching us online, you can scan the QR code, and you can go to the app, download the app. If you are a veteran, if you're a defender, then you have full access to this. So this is a pretty cool program. So let me ask you this though. So we're talking about the traditional thought of the first responders, the police, fire, etc., and military, both currently serving as well as veterans. Does this also include other defenders like Secret Service, like Border Security or Border Patrol, et cetera, those types of people as well?
Yeah, it would. We are certainly open to that. Again, it just goes, we're trying to build for, if you're a defender of this nation, if you're a first responder, if you're a Border Patrol, if you're a Secret Service member, that would certainly fall within the defenders category. Cops, firefighters, maybe EMS services. So yeah, it would certainly, it's more broad than just, frankly, I'm a veteran. So when I think of this, I always say veteran, but I mean defender a lot of, in all these instances.
Sure.
So it's certainly more broad than just the veteran firefighter, police officer. Yes.
Okay. One last question on who could qualify. So if you're a member of the NRA, you're defending. So you're, or like us, we are defending the First Amendment all the time. So anyway, I'm really
we'll build the
we'll get on this app.
Yeah, we'll talk offline. Maybe we can build a special app for you guys.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Oh, Ray, back to you. Bail.
And that means we need to go to a quick commercial break and come back for the next portion or the next question for Sean.
Well, the first question, or before we go to the commercial break, Ray, I got to ask you, how you doing?
That's what I want. Latch on as soon as you can, make it hard. If I stand on one leg, can you yank me off balance? Yeah. If I stand feet wide, can you pull me off balance? Sean, what's the matter with you? How you doing? What was the first thing she did? She walked away. She took her eyes off of me. She looked away. I take her purse, I run. She goes to security, she goes to law enforcement. They're gonna say, well, what did he look like? And you're gonna be like, it happened so fast, I didn't see him coming. You didn't see him coming because I made you feel uncomfortable and you took your eyes off me and walked away. The whole point is, and this does not mean I want you to go and flirt and talk to the person, or I don't want you to go, I see you. I just want you to, that's a cool shirt. I'd like to get that because my kids are in soccer. I'm letting you know I'm aware of you. I'm letting you know I can describe you.
Sorry, right.
Yeah.
I can't mess up.
He gives me trouble all the time because when I say how you doing, the first thing she does is she laughs at me and then walks away. So it's like it's not the first thing she did was look away. No, it's she laughs at me. But anyway,
that's sort of what happened to Joey Tribbiani, right? Did all the women walk away from him? Is that just you?
That's the story of my life.
Yeah. So, Ray, tell us more about Heroes in Action. You're a nonprofit organization.
So, Heroes in Action is a nonprofit. We are, full disclosure, featured on the Defenders Gateway app. Hey, guess what? Other nonprofits and businesses can also, if they're helping, in one way or another, discounts or services for our defenders, that those businesses need to sign up on the app and put their information out there so people can find you. The QR code goes to our webpage, heroesinaction.us, which is our funding. If you want to make a donation, it's a tax-deductible donation. If you want to donate enough money to support us to do a school assembly, a violent prevention seminar for a business or corporation, you can donate whatever amount that you want to help us continue providing our services to the communities at little or no cost to them. So use the QR code. You can contact me via email at ray@heroesinactionnow.org or just go to the website, heroesinaction.us, and check out all the different programs that we have for kids, for women, for businesses, churches, or other organizations that are out there.
So I'm guessing you could do something like a Chamber of Commerce or a Rotary Club or ladies group, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, etc. All of those kinds of things. Your whole thing is you want to be able to give away your services, but you need funding in order to do that and still pay your bills too.
Absolutely, yes.
So,
just like any other nonprofit.
Sure.
Help keep the lights on, but also help promote safety in our communities.
Yeah.
Sean?
So, and Ray, for your nonprofit, is there a particular region you support, or is it sort of national?
We go anywhere. We're based in Florida, so most of what we do is here in Florida. But if we have sponsors that cover our travel expenses, we go anywhere in the country and provide our services for any organization.
Great.
We want to travel. We want to go everywhere and help as many people as we can.
So, and people could sign up for monthly support, or it's a recurring payment, $10, $20, $50, $100, $5,000 a month. That would be acceptable as well.
Always,
so,
yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Got it. As well as the one-time gifts.
Every dollar helps in the nonprofit world. That is 100% right.
Absolutely. So,
Sean, If somebody who is a defender in the past, present, can you share how the app actually works? And Steve, if we can get a picture of those 3 slides,
I
that'll
just
help
have
them.
just have to find the specifics. There we go.
There we go.
Yeah, so the way this app works is, you go to your Apple Store, download it, sign up, get verified. And one of the nice things about once you get verified, we actually create a unique veteran ID, or excuse me, Defender ID as part of it. So if you walk into a store and they offer a military discount, and you don't have your ID with you, you could open up the app and it'll show a picture of your ID right there. People forget their military verifications or first responders licenses or whatever, but so it's all on the app. But once you get in the app, it is geolocation based. So, and you could set the parameters, and I think you could change the parameters from all resources within 5 miles to 250 miles of your location. So what someone sees here where I'm at in St. Louis would certainly be different than what someone sees in Dallas or Florida or New York. And once you get in there, there's a bunch of different resources. You got nonprofit resources, you got entertainment resources, you got business resources, so you have job opportunities. One function that I really like about it, if you go to the nonprofit section, we have a big red button right there that's VA hotline, right? So if you're having mental health issues or you need to speak to someone near crisis, open up the app, go right there, and you could call the VA and get someone on the phone right away. That way you're not searching around for that phone number when you're under great stress, So that is to me, that's just really, really important.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you go there, it shows all the resources that are in your area. You can download them, you can interact with them. We'll have job opportunities, we'll have franchise opportunities on there. One thing, on the franchise side that we always like to say is, if you look at the numbers of who is buying into franchises, it's such a high percentage of veterans and first responders. I mean, they really enjoy working in the franchise industry, and franchisors are specifically trying to target them. And this is one way that if you're a franchise owner, you could easily reach our nation's defenders.
So you guys are pretty much approaching all the franchises and asking them to put their business on the app, and then in doing so, that also gets them to get on the support side of things on helping defenders find work once they get out of the military, or if they choose to change their career path or want to add to an income stream to their career path, they can start a franchise and continue doing what they're doing.
100%. Franchises are really our bread and butter here, because if you think of it too, with the geo-based location features of the app, you want one location's fine, right? If you got one location in Arizona, you'll reach those folks within your area. But if you have 1,000 different locations around the country, you're really going to see a lot of benefit from that, because you're going to have users around the country trying to access that. So if you have multiple locations, not just franchises, any sort of business with multiple locations, you certainly would want to be on the app, and that's where you're going to get your the biggest benefit out of it. And you're right, we sort of advertise, we'll push people and direct people to your franchise for your products and services, but what we'll also do is help advertise your franchise and promote your franchise if a veteran is looking to switch jobs, transition out of the military, or develop a second stream of income.
John, you are opening up so many cans. I'm trying to figure out which direction I want to go. So let's say I've got ABC Plumbing, and it's a franchise. Do I pay a fee to be on the app, or how does that work?
Yep, you would pay a fee. The businesses located that we do promote on the app do pay a fee, but it's minimal. It's not a lot of money. So this really allows us to target a lot of business. I don't want to say we don't want to know everybody on this call wants to get rich, but that's not really the purpose of the app.
Right.
The purpose of the app is to give support to the defenders of this country. So we try to keep the app itself is free for the users. But of course, we got to support our tech and build up our app and do things like that. So we do have costs associated with that on the business end, but it is cheap, and it is location based. So if you have one business, your fee's gonna be really minimal probably. But if you have 1,000 around the country, of course, it's going to increase a little bit. But again, in the scheme of things, this thing is it's very, very affordable, and it's such an easy way to reach millions and millions of defenders.
All right, I've got a kind of a follow up, but not a follow up. So you mentioned something. If somebody is in a crisis of some sort, there's a button they can push and go straight to a hotline of some sort. Do you offer or do you put out there opportunities for counselors, therapists, coaches, etc., where if there is that first responder or that responder, that defender that is going through an issue, not necessarily related to their job, it could be something that was an aftermath from the job, but it could be they're going through a divorce or they're going through some other emotional things. Are there facilities for that as well?
100%. And one thing that we do at the VA, for example, is a perfect example. This is directly on the app. If you need to get to the VA, it's located. We do have that on the app, and we would obviously help promote if you're a therapist or whoever, mental health coach or counselor, whatever it is.
Okay.
Again, it's a business, right? You got a business that you want to promote and you want to reach certain types of people. This would be the perfect way to do that. Yes.
All right. I don't mean to do a shameless self-promotion plug, but as a coach, I've done a tremendous amount of trauma coaching, emotional trauma coaching over the past 15 years. I would not say that I'm qualified to handle the intense PTS issues, but a lot of the other issues I can handle. Would that be something that I would want to look into or should look into to be part of the app as well?
Yeah, if you think you could provide support to the defenders, I would certainly reach out to us and we could chat about it. Just because it doesn't necessarily fit into what we do at this exact moment doesn't mean you may not open our minds a little bit and cause us to change our model slightly and add those different features.
Yeah.
We are on version 2 of the app right now. We are going to continue to develop it and continue
Sure.
to make it better. So if people have feedback and have good points like you just raised, we are more than happy to look into that to further improve the product that we offer.
Yeah, for instance, one of the guys we've had him on the show in the past, J.R. Smith. He's got a program that is specifically for veterans and their families, where he does equine therapy. So he's connecting people that are having some pretty intense PTS issues, connecting them with ranchers that have horses in this therapy program. Would that be somebody that you would want to connect with as well?
1,000%. We would love to reach those people. It's funny you mentioned that. Just a quick story. My wife and I went out to Jackson Hole, Wyoming, back in August, and we went horseback riding up in the Tetons. It's absolutely beautiful. And our guide there actually worked at a nonprofit. I want to say it was in Arizona, and it's sort of the equine therapy model on steroids, because what they do is they essentially, I think it's probably because of Yellowstone, everybody kind of wants to be a cowboy. They offer like a real day on the ranch. So they'll fly out people with PTSD, veterans or first responders, and they'll just sort of let them work a real cattle ranch for the week and use that as therapy. So even like a nonprofit like that would be great on the app. And I just love that it's
cool.
just so different than everything else that you see. So yeah, 100%.
So there are so many charities that are out there, like Tunnel of Towers or Soldiers Wish List, or I'm sure that you've got other ones listed on the app that are all worthy of getting donations from the general public. Can you share how the app can help by signing up their business as a charity and what kind of benefits they get?
Yeah, on a nonprofit side, again, it's built for veterans and first responders. I mean, that's what it is, and that's what we do. So if you have a nonprofit out there that you would like to advertise to promote your nonprofit, yeah, certainly sign up. That is what we're doing, and it would, any exposure is going to help you raise money, help you raise funds to continue your own mission. So I would certainly get on the app if you're trying to do that. Yes.
So you're looking for both for-profit businesses as well as not-for-profit businesses to be on the app to support their causes, whatever the cause is related to our defenders.
Yep. For-profit businesses that are certainly trying to reach, sort of direct their products or services to veterans, right? And you got sort of nonprofits that sort of provide those same benefits to defenders. And we also have sort of the job opportunity side of things too. So if you're an employer and you're looking to advertise a job and you think a veteran would be a good fit for it, you could come to the app and you could advertise on the app through that way too. So there's multiple different ways, if you're a business, that we could provide some benefit to you.
Is there, do you charge the nonprofits to be on the app, or is it just like the other businesses that pay a minimum amount of fee to be included on the app?
Yeah, so the nonprofit side, we don't charge them any cost for that. So that's sort of free. One thing I will say about it, though, is that when people start nonprofits, they always have the best intentions at heart. And sometimes, you start them and, you get distracted by life or what have you. So your nonprofit still exists, but it's really not doing a lot. So whether or not it's a quality nonprofit. So one thing we do try to monitor on our end is make sure if you're a nonprofit, we want those quality nonprofits on the app. We don't want just the person that started and not doing,
Let's it go by the wayside. Right.
Yeah, 100%. Yep.
Makes total sense. Ray,
we also want to start to partner with I mentioned the VA earlier. One thing I've been thinking is I would love to partner with someone that could, if a veteran on the app needs to get to the VA and they don't have transportation, I would love to find a way that we could partner with a transportation style company for a free ride to the VA. And I don't know if that would be a ride sharing company or what, but you go to the Defenders app, say, I want to go to the VA, then a ride sharing company will sort of cover that cost for you to get to the VA. I think that'd be great. I mean, that's something we're looking at right now.
That's a great idea. All right. Sean, I hate to tell you this, but Ray's little toy there, the gong, means we have to go to another commercial.
Well, I apologize.
So that's okay. we didn't warn you.
You need to make your gong more gongier or something.
That's all right. We were doing this show for about a year, and I didn't know what that gong meant. So
wow.
Here we go.
Life isn't always sunshine and roses. Sometimes it's full of roadblocks. The kind that aren't as easy to fix as filling a hole or repairing a car. Personal roadblocks are another thing altogether. Why do I feel stuck? The same things anger me every time. Why am I doing this anyway? Fixing it yourself can be frustrating and confusing. And if more than one person is involved, DIY might mean destroy it yourself. Maybe it's time for another solution. Steve Reed shines a light on your roadblocks and helps you find the best way forward for you. Stephen Reed Ministries, bringing light and hope for a victorious life. To overcome your roadblocks, schedule an appointment with Steve Reed today.
And wow, how about that? That would be me. So, all right. So I'm gonna put another image up, another screen up, and just so that you see a little bit more, Sean, and what our audience can see. I recently re-released a workbook that I came up with. I've been really doing a variation of this for many years. I call my workbook Strategies for Success Planning for Professionals. And this is a compilation of things that I've done over the years, and I've grabbed things from a lot of different places. It is not a calendar. It is a planning program that allows you to figure out a lot of different things about yourself, your business, your family, etc., where you're going. And if you scan the QR code, it'll take you to my website, and you can actually see some of the images from the workbook. But It starts out by asking people, what is your why? And then we go into what is your purpose? What is your mission? What is your vision? What are your strengths? Then there's a section for SMART goals. And then we get into some of the really tough questions that a lot of people don't ask themselves. What's working and what's not working? And if you're looking into things that have not been working and you keep doing them over and over and over again, Albert Einstein calls that the definition of insanity if you're expecting different results. So maybe we need to take a different look at things. So I'm offering this workbook. It's only $27. It's a fillable PDF, so you can store it on your computer. You can update it on a regular basis, which I recommend, because if, for instance, several years ago, when we had COVID that decided it was going to raise its ugly head, if everybody had stayed the course in April, May, and June from where they had been the first week in March, if they didn't make changes, then they would be out of business. And a lot of people didn't make changes and went out of business. So you have to be able to make changes. That's where I recommend you go through something at least on a quarterly basis to reevaluate everything that you're doing. And then you can make better decisions based on what is working and what's not working. So that's a sample. So Sean, I got to figure out a way to get it on your app, because I think that would be a valuable
I see what you're doing there.
And is there a way that you can maybe even discount your thing on the app for defenders? I mean, that's a discussion that you'd have to. Yeah. That's a discussion that you'd have to have with Sean and Carol and the app developers. Yeah,
that's an interesting. I like that. See, we're already making progress here. I like it.
I'm thrilled to pieces. I really see. I'm trying to figure out ways that I can support our veterans. You know, as I mentioned before we started the program, my stepson is in the military. That's all I'm going to say. And I want to be able to support people like him, but other friends that have gotten out and they're just kind of wandering. They don't know what to do. They don't have a why yet, or they don't know what their why is. They don't know what their purpose is. They don't know. Okay, so somebody graduates or gets out of the Air Force, and they were a fighter pilot. Well, it's not a whole lot of call for fighter pilots. I mean, you can go into one of the airlines, but not a whole lot of use for fighter pilots. So we got to figure out other ways to be able to utilize the skills and the knowledge and the training that the people have. So that's just shameless self-promotion plug.
So, Sean, is there on the app for clergy and for like different religions for defenders to be able to, maybe find their way or find another way?
Yeah, that's a great question, and we do offer. It's again, a lot of it. We have these geo-based locations. So if you're a chaplain or clergy or and looking to give back to the defender community, that is just one other feature that our app has to offer, and it's fall under sort of the nonprofit resources on the app. But that's 100% right. We're really trying to build everything you would need, right, if you're a defender of this country. All the different products, all the different services, from religious to nonprofit to mental health to even business, business side of things. Will all be on the app, right? I'm an attorney here in St. Louis. If you're a VA benefits attorney, right, and those are what you provide, those are your services, you should be on our app, right? You should reach out to us and allow us and work with us and partner with us to help promote your business to the very people that you're trying to reach. So, yep.
That's outstanding. Man, I was all set to do another shameless self-promotion plug, but
how would you describe the Defenders Gateway community and what their reaction? What has their reaction been to the app so far?
Yeah, I would tell you, it's been fantastic. I actually traveled with Carol, the founder of Defenders Gateway, out to San Diego maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. There was a Veterans in Business conference out there, so it was just a conference of a bunch of veteran business owners and those supporting those businesses. And we, of course, had a booth there. We talked with a lot of people, user side, veterans themselves, and the businesses that are supporting them, and they absolutely love it. They're a little surprised something like this didn't really exist yet. I mean, there may be certain services out there where you go to the web page or a blog type thing and find it sort of the same type of information. But because it's an app and it's just one button, click it, and it's all going to be right there. You don't have to really look for it. You don't have to find it, and it's tailored to your specific area. So I think the reaction has been very, very positive.
And are you doing things? I know you've touched on this, but here I am. I'm in the Dallas area, and you're in St. Louis, raised in Florida. Would there be geolocation things going on right now? So if somebody's in St. Louis and they need something, or if somebody's in Dallas, or if somebody's in Phoenix, that the local resources would be available there as well.
Yes, that's exactly how it works. And the app allows you to designate how far of a radius you want to be, 5 miles up into 200, sort of like Tinder, right? You get on Tinder, it's like, how far out do you want to try to reach people?
That's steady.
So it's the same sort of concept here. So, and that's really important on the nonprofit, and to me, the nonprofit and the mental health. What is exactly in this community that I am around, and how can I get there the quickest?
It's so obviously, if somebody works virtually, then it doesn't make any difference what the location is.
That's. Go ahead.
You guys must be working 24 hours a day to collect all of the resources and put them in the appropriate places.
That is, I was thinking yesterday or the day before, when you start a business, a lot of times you have a product, you have a service, and all you got to do is build up your customer base, right? Mm-hmm. And for us, it's a little bit more difficult because we got to build up the customers, which are the users, the defenders of this country. But we also have to build up the business side of things too, because all we are is that bridge. We're that filter. So we're out there in the community, going to events, going to conferences, podcasts, radio shows, everything you can imagine, just to spread the word, because we got a lot of heavy lifting to do, and it does take a team. I mean, we certainly have a great team working behind the scenes, not only on the technology, but to serve as sort of the customer support for all the businesses, get them signed up, get the users verified, and give them access to the app. So it's quite the operation.
So let's say you've got somebody, whatever branch of service they're in, and they've been stationed in Germany or in Japan or Taiwan or wherever. It doesn't make a difference. So they decide they're going to get out of the service. They're going to stay in that area. Can you help them as well?
Yeah, well, let me think about that now. That's a great question, because I think we need to explore this a little bit more. Yeah, you're looking at international, but I think what I would say at this point, right, if we have a business that offers a military discount out there, and it could be a U.S.-based business, but you're in Germany, you could still go through the app, open up the app, you could go through those businesses, get that, locate them, get the discount, and have your product shipped overseas. So I guess to a certain extent, maybe. But for right now, we're really focused on the U.S. But I do like where you're going, because we do got a lot of troops overseas at all times, currently serving and after they get out of the military. So that may be something we want to explore for sure going forward.
Well, I mean, I would think also, if there are franchises that are international, that they may have something in Germany, they may have something in Switzerland or something in France or wherever. And to be able to connect our first responders and our military with those people, so you're really an internationally based app. It's not just here for domestic.
That's right. And we're certainly going to continue to increase that and give better services to those overseas. But you're 100% right with that. And we're going to definitely look at that more and more.
So would the Red Cross be considered defenders?
I would have to think about that, I guess.
That's something that's a
so. I mean, if they are,
and Carol, I mean, if they're in a third world country helping with, like, we're talking Israel right now, or even Ukraine, and you have the American Red Cross going out bringing medical supplies, or just being a resource for our military to use. Would they be also considered a Defender? And does that open up a whole nother group of people to reach out to?
Yeah, no, that's a really good thought you have there. I mean, essentially, if you're looking to support a Defender in any way, we're happy to talk to you, right? If it's a Red Cross or what have you, we would certainly be willing to have those conversations. Just because you don't sort of fall into that traditional nonprofit or that traditional business that really supports vets, that doesn't mean you may not even want to support them in another way. Maybe we can come with opportunities to help support them in their mission, using our users and our Defenders. So that's something we will continue to look at.
That's excellent. Ray, I think it's time for the gong show. So I think we need to go to another commercial break. So, yeah, thank you very much. But we're going to talk for just a brief moment about OBBM Network. So take a look at this real quick spot.
Entertainment expands your horizons, takes you on fantastic adventures, challenges your skills. Independent media never looked so good. Welcome to a new sphere of influence. Our words mean business. Traditional families are honored, and the American flag still flies.
And OBBM Network would definitely be a friend to Defenders Gateway. They're first responders in a different sense. So we're pleased to be affiliated with the OBBM Network.
Now, I know you guys, as Defenders Gateway, are looking into actually advertising in the Florida area on Traverse TV, pushing the Defenders Gateway because there's a lot of military bases out here in Florida. So I hope you guys are able to get that set up and get going, because I'd be real curious what type of responses you get, how many more downloads you get from people that are watching Traverse TV with all the different Florida shows that they have through the OBBM network. So
yeah, that would certainly be wonderful from our perspective. I mean, of course, we want to promote within the military communities the most. That's really where we want to hit heavy. But one thing I've noticed is that a lot of times, if there's not a big base around your area, or you don't have a sort of a lot of active duty military, that doesn't mean you don't have a lot of veterans and Defenders in the community. And a lot of times, if you don't have those big bases, those veterans kind of even fall further behind because they don't really have that community support naturally behind them. Sure. So we certainly want to target the Florida market, and of course Texas and all the big military states like that. But even those communities that don't have it, I mean, it's just as important there because their Defenders are everywhere. They're in every community.
Right.
Oh,
is the VFW part of Defenders Gateway as a nonprofit?
Yep, they would be. They would be part of it, 100%.
We just got to get the VFWs to sign up.
Call us up.
Yeah, that'll be my job for out here. There's a couple I can address. So, what does the future look like for Defenders Gateway? What do you guys see happening?
We're really just going to continue to grow. It's interesting because we're going to have such a cascade effect, right? The more users we have, the more businesses we have, the more businesses, the more your user. It's just going to be this snowball effect. And we already got quite a few users, and we already got a lot of businesses on here. So we're just going to continue to build that support network as we move forward. And of course, as I mentioned, the version 2 just released about a couple weeks ago, and we're going to continue to improve that. And we're going to also look at improving and developing a version 3 and really integrate more partners into the platform to provide the most support. So that's where we're looking at, and that's what we're busy doing right now.
This is completely off subject. I don't know why it hit me, but it just hit me. Are you doing anything with AI in the app?
Not right now, but we have had those discussions between me, Carol, and myself. So I think that we will hopefully come up with something. I mean, obviously AI is definitely the future. As an attorney, I could tell you there's big things happening in the legal world with AI. to provide better services to our customers. So I think that we're going to certainly find ways to use that here as well.
Well, I would think it would, as an attorney, I would think it would help you in some of the research that you're doing to get ready for a particular case.
100%, 100%. It's a game changer. It really is. I mean,
Cool.
it's crazy how like ChatGPT works. I mean, it's just a phenomenal product. And I mean, that's gotten better over the past year.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's an immense improvement on their end. And I feel like hopefully we can sort of replicate that improvement on ours too.
I am so thrilled to pieces. Number one, to have you on the show. We need to have you on again.
All right. Yeah, I'd love to. Absolutely.
This is just really fascinating. What you're doing technology wise, what you're doing for our defenders, and how you're being that aggregator to collect all of this material, all of this data in one place where somebody can go on their phone. It's mind-boggling what is capable today
100%.
and what you guys have been able to accomplish.
Yep. And it's surprising nobody's done it. And that's that's the first reaction. Like your reaction is very telling right there. It's like, why hasn't somebody done this before? Right. And that's what we're doing now.
Well, you think about Mr. Google has sort of tried to do it with the website, but this is so easy. You don't have to go searching through a lot of stuff. You just, okay, I'm looking for a franchise. Boom. Where are you located? Here's what kind of franchise are you looking for? Well, I want a franchise that teaches people how to load tanks. Probably not a whole lot of franchises like that, but I mean, it looks like you can really narrow things down. Are you doing anything with programs like Strength Finders?
What's that? I'm unfamiliar with them.
Strength Finders, basically, it's an evaluation. It's an online test that you can take. And as you go through this process of this question answer process, it allows you to figure out what your strengths are. Are you a thinker? Are you a doer? And then it gives you a printout as to what your strengths are. So when you're looking for that new job, then you know better where to go in those types of resources. I'm a licensed DISC coach where I talk about personality temperaments, and that could be something as well that could be a huge benefit for anybody, because there's just so many resources that could be added to the
100%. And I think like even like at an educational function is sort of kind of a little bit of what you're touching upon there. It's sort of personality test to determine your job, what job you'd be a good fit. So I love that idea. I really like that. Something I'm gonna think about a little bit more. But educational resources, right? Job training resources, job certifications, all that stuff can be on the app. And we're going to explore that. Like I said, we have plans already for as we continue to move forward, and conversations like this will only improve the app and only improve the services we offer. So I love that.
As we're narrowing down to the end of the show, I just got one more. So the people listening or watching, is there a kids corner? You have parents of kids that are deployed and gone for 6 months, 2 years, or whatever, and they don't always see it. Is there a way, or are you guys designing a way that they would be able to stay in touch with their child and have resources for their kids that, if it's a Gold Star family or if it's a child that is going through mental health issues because separation anxiety or anything like that, are those resources on the app as well?
Those would 100% be on it. The app is built for defenders and their families, so for their children. And one of the things we want to do is try to figure out what are the children of defenders doing, right? What do they like? What apps do they like? What games, what movies, what kind of music do they listen to? What resources are they looking for? And that is 100% on the app right now. And that's going to get better. The more users we have, the more feedback we get. We want to build a product for the defenders out there. So the more people on it that provide us feedback on what they're looking for, it'll help us improve it even more. Yep.
That's awesome.
Ray, you brought up a good point there. I know when my wife hears anything from her son, she's in a much better mood. And when she gets to talk to him or do a Zoom call or FaceTime or whatever, anything of that sort, she's a much happier mama. So if there was a way to facilitate some of those things, that would be terrific as well,
Yeah.
where it's a secure type of a thing. Because I know when you're stationed wherever, you got major security issues, and so if there was a secured link of some sort that our military people in particular,
And I know we're probably running to the end time. I will say we do have a chat function on the app, actually. And
Do you really?
there is a chat function, so you can securely communicate with others, defenders that are already on the app. So that's one feature that came out with version 2 that released a few weeks. It's really good. Yep.
Okay,
That's a
So-
game changer.
Because of the letters to home. I was Army Reserves, did a tour in Iraq back in 2009, 2010, and I remember getting letters from home, and they mean the world. So
Yeah, I mean, my wife is just telling me a couple of days ago that she writes a letter to her son almost every day, and she said there's something that he's saying. There's some of these younger kids that are stationed wherever, and mail call and they don't get anything or just one letter, whereas some they're getting something on a regular basis. So that I know that means a lot to our people that are being deployed wherever. Doesn't make any difference.
for sure. I remember going through basic training. Some people would get just a big old stack of letters from people back home, and some people wouldn't get anything, unfortunately. And I could tell you who was happier, and who had a better positive outlook. So that's
Absolutely. All right. So you just, oh man, Sean, we're going to have more of a conversation. So
All right,
I can
love
see
it. Let's do it.
all kinds of things. So Ray, we're out of time. We can keep going for another 2 hours. This is
This
good.
is fun. I'm glad you guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
This is our pleasure, and thank you for taking the time. I know as an attorney, you're real busy doing what you do, but thank you for taking the time to chat with us and enlighten our listeners and viewers more on what the app is about and how it can benefit everyone that's a defender, whether they're in the military or law enforcement or first responders. With the holidays coming up, they can use this app and get discounts on products or services as Christmas gifts for their families. Think about that, people. Sean, thanks for joining us. This is Ray and Steve on Taboo Talk.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Enjoy the rest of the day.
Merry Christmas to y'all. We'll see you.
Christmas.
Thank you for joining us on today's episode of Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve. If you have suggestions for topics you would like us to discuss, or you would like to become a sponsor, reach out to us today at tabootalkwithrayansteve@gmail.com. In the meantime, check out the other amazing programs on OBBM Network on all your favorite podcast platforms. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment. Join us again for another fun and informative opinion-based episode. This is Taboo Talk with Ray and Steve.